Hey, Julia here from ITM Events. This is the mom version of me at my daughter's basketball practice, and thought I'd take a minute and create this little video for you. So on Monday, I talked to you about the importance of creating an itinerary. So tonight I wanted to talk to you about how exactly to create the itinerary, just like we do, that makes your events run as smoothly as ours would. So the very first thing you want to do in your itinerary is lay out all the basic events that'll be happening throughout your event. So things like what time you plan to be on site, what time your first speaker is speaking, if there's a meal, what time is the meal being served, what time are you closing the event, like what's your final time, and then essentially you just go through and fill in all the gaps. So like every single detail you can think of. So once your team arrives on site, how long do you think it's going to take you to unload the truck? So you're going to arrive on site, it'll take you probably 10 minutes to kind of get yourself acquainted with the space, park and get everything organized, figure in 15 minutes to unload your vehicle. Then from there, an hour, for example, to set up the registration desk. Then, and so you just kind of work your way through the day, and that is the best way to figure out if your timeline is correct. If you have your team arriving at 9 and your first speaker's at 10 and you haven't done any of the setup yet, then you have to arrive long before 9 o'clock. So just work your way backwards from key points in the day to figure out what your next timeline should be. Obviously, if you have an agenda that's already been published for the public, you're going to want to put that in your itinerary first and work outwards and in between all of those points. Then, once you have all of those time slots in your itinerary, then you want to go through and detail each time slot. So, for example, if you're going to be setting up your registration table, you want to have on there exactly what you need in order to do that. So you will need, you could put like hotel requirements. So the venue that you're having it at, you list what they need to have for you at registration. Yes, it's in the BEOs. Yes, you've talked about this a million times, but put it in the itinerary anyway, because if anyone is picking up that piece of paper that day and is, doesn't have time to go back through all the BEOs to figure out all the pieces, this little document might have everything they need. So for example, at your registration desk, you're gonna need probably 2 tables. They should have a black tablecloth. The tablecloth should go to the floor. You should have 4 chairs. And access to power and internet access. Then for yourself, so then you put, I would put ITM requirements. So you put your own self there and what the requirements are. So on that list, I would have that we need a laptop, my printer, my stand for my lanyards, my stands for my name badges, like everything, pens, paper, a garbage can, whatever, like all of the details that you can think of that need to be in that time slot. So everything related to registration needs to be listed there. Then the same for when your speakers are coming on. So let's say you have your speaker up there, then they have a special requirement. So you make sure that your AV team is tagged in that session and they know that they are to play, I'm so bad with music. I'm trying to think of a cool song that they would want to play. Anyway, so there's one song this speaker loves to come on to stage to. Well, you need to have that listed there for your AV team. Yes, you've already talked about it. Yes, they already know that. Yes, they're ready for that. But you want to have it in your itinerary as well. That way, anyone who is helping with the event and picks up this itinerary to know what the next steps are, they need to know what's there. And the biggest mistake I think people make in either creating an itinerary and not making it detailed enough, or not creating an itinerary at all, is that you figure just because you plan the event that you're going to remember. Just like I talked about on Monday, you're not going to remember. When you get in the middle of all this chaos, you will forget little details, and these are the details that make your event perfect. The other thing is you can't be everywhere all the time. So if all of a sudden there's an emergency at registration and your speaker is about to go on stage and the AV team turns to your colleague and says, what song is it that I'm supposed to play right now? And that colleague won't know, just because they didn't create the event with you. They weren't the one who spoke to the speaker, so they may not know. But if you put it in the itinerary, you can hand that off to anyone at all, and they'll be able to step in exactly where you're at and know exactly what the requirements are. I think that's it. Those are the main details in creating an itinerary. Once the itinerary is created, you want to share it with everyone. Everyone who's involved in your event should get a copy of the itinerary. I love the system that we use. We use PlanningPod for our itinerary. I love it because I'm able to essentially, like, down the left side of the screen, it'll say like show all, so it'll show the whole itinerary. Or it'll say, for example, if I'm working with mastermind events, I can click on mastermind events and everything related to them comes up, and it's just an itinerary for that supplier alone. So I don't bog them down with 30 pages of itinerary when their itinerary is very specific and it's only 5 or 6 items. So share the itinerary, have lots of copies of it at the event, so that anyone can pick it up and help you pull off your event at any given time if you cannot be, in everywhere at every minute. So detail it out based on the schedule for the event, and then work your way out from there on different details that need to happen, and that will help you to confirm your itinerary and that your timeline is correct. And then fill in every single detail of the itinerary with every thought, every item that needs to be there, every song that needs to be played, like every detail you could possibly think of needs to be on that itinerary. I think that's it. If you have any questions about writing an itinerary, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always happy to share a sample itinerary. If anybody ever wants to have a look at one, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at julia@itmevents.ca, and I'd be more than happy to have a look at your itinerary and kind of give you some suggestions on how I think it can be better, or if you'd like to have a look at one of ours as an example. Okay, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you all again soon. Thanks.